Today we're going to be solving story problems using systems of equations. Your first step is to read the problem and then define your variables, write a system of equations, and then solve it. So let's look at example 1. You are having a party Friday night for your best friend's birthday. You are ordering from Mr. K's Pizzeria. You spend $50. Pizzas are $10 each, and breadsticks are $5 per order. A total of 6 items are purchased. How many pizzas and how many breadsticks orders did you make? So the first step is going to be to define our variables. You can take any variables you want. I'm just going to pick X and Y. So what do I know? I don't know how many pizzas I ordered. I don't know how many orders of breadsticks I ordered. So we'll let X equal the number of pizzas ordered. We'll let Y equal the number of bread sticks ordered. So this is called defining your variables. So now once we have our variables defined, we're going to use the information in the problem to write a system of equations. It says you spent $50. So we spent $50. Just think about that. We spent $50. We bought X amount of pizzas. So if I bought one pizza, and if the pizzas cost $10, that's $10. So I bought 2 pizzas, that'll be 2 times 10, 20. I bought X amount. So the amount of money I spent on pizza is 10X. The amount of money I spent on breadsticks would be 5Y. So if we add these two amounts together, that should equal the amount that you spent, $50. Now, it also says we bought 6 items. So that means if you add X and Y together, that should equal 6. So here is my system of equations. And now I need to solve it. You can either do elimination or substitution. Well, if you look at this problem, it looks really easy to do elimination on. So let's do elimination. Let's eliminate the X. So let's multiply the bottom equation by -10. So if I do that, I'll get -10x minus 10y equals -60. Keep the top equation the same. So let's just rewrite it. Add these two equations together, the x's cancel out. We get -5y is equal to -10. So y is equal to 2. What is y? The number of breadsticks I ordered. That's 2. Now, how would I find how many pizzas I ordered? Well, you plug your answer back into one of the original equations. Let's plug it into this equation right here. So we'll have x plus 2 is equal to 6. So subtract 2, x equals 4. So we ordered 4 pizzas and 2 orders of breadsticks. All right, let's look at another one. It says Jaden has a total of 24 dimes and quarters. All 24 coins have a value of $3.60. How many of each coin does he have? Again, we're going to define our variables. You can use any variables you want. You can use X and Y if you like using X and Y, but I'm going to change it up and use Q and D. Now we're going to define what Q represents. Q represents the number of quarters that Jaden has. This is called defining your variables. We'll let D equal the number of dimes got our variables defined. If you have two variables, you gotta have two equations. So we gotta write two equations involving Q and D. Well, it says he has 24 dimes and quarters. Q is how many quarters he has, D is how many dimes. So if you add those together, that should equal 24. So Q plus D equals 24. What else did it say? The values of the coins is $3.60. Well, a quarter is 25 cents. A dime is 10 cents. So here's my system of equations right here. But it looks complicated because of the decimals. So if you have an equation that has decimals and they all go out to the same decimal point, you can get rid of the decimals by multiplying through by whatever place value it goes out to. So it goes out to the 100s. So let's just multiply this equation by 100. If we multiply that equation by 100, we get 25Q plus 10D equals 360. Basically, what we're doing is just taking the values and changing them all to pennies. $3.60 is 360 pennies. A quarter is worth 25 pennies. A dime is worth 10 pennies. It's going to make it easier to solve. So I'm just going to erase this. I'm just going to use these two equations to solve the problem. Right, so we could, again, do elimination on this. I would just multiply that top equation by -10. So you get -10Q minus 10D equals -240. Then rewrite the bottom equation. Add these together. What do we end up with? Well, -10Q plus 25Q is 15Q. These cancel out, eliminate each other. And then 360 minus 240 is 120. Then divide both sides by 15. We get Q to be 8. So Jaden has 8 quarters. If he has 8 quarters, how many dimes does he have? Well, let's plug 8 in for Q in this equation right here. So I have 8 plus D equals 24. Minus 8, minus 8. 24 minus 8, 16. So D equals 16. So we had 16 dimes. A lot of times with these story problems, you can always check and make sure this makes sense. 16 dimes. How much is 16 dimes? Well, that's $1.60. How much is 8 quarters? That's $2. How much did we start with? Hopefully it was $3.60. All right, one last example here. I just want you to get a feel for all these different types of story problems you're going to see. All right, at the Elton John concert, pavilion seats cost $40, lawn seats $25. How many of each kind of tickets were purchased if 5,000 tickets were bought for $152,000? Again, let's define our variables. We got pavilion seats, $40, lawn seats, $25. What are we looking for? We're looking for the amount purchased. So let's do P, we'll let that equal the number of pavilion seats sold. We'll let L equal the number of lawn seats sold. So we got our variables defined. Now we gotta come up with two equations here. Again, we got dollar amounts. We got $40, $25, $152. So they're probably all gonna go together. So if you bought one pavilion, that's 1 times 40. If you bought two, that's 2 times 40. If you bought three, 3 times 40. Well, we bought the P amount. So that's gonna be 40 times P plus 25 times L equals 152,000. So those are our first equation. Now, we haven't used this yet. It says 5,000 tickets were sold altogether. That means P plus L equals 5,000. So there's your system. Okay? Just to save time, I'm not going to solve this, because you should know how to solve it. You can just solve it by elimination or substitution. So now I want you to try some of these problems on your own.